He accidentally swallowed the plastic fork while goofing around. Now, he assumed it would just pass naturally, and he moved on with his life. But 10 years later, severe stomach pain and vomiting blood sent him to the hospital. Doctors were shocked to find the 9-inch fork lodged in his stomach. The prongs had pressed into the lining, causing a bleeding ulcer. A 45-minute surgery was needed to remove the fork safely. Chunks of meat began to fall out of the sky in a small Kentucky town. They scattered over a farmer's field, covering a large area. The pieces varied in size, some as big as 2 inches and others smaller. Some locals even collected the meat and ate it, but no one actually knows where it came from. Some believe that a flock of vultures had overeaten and puked mid-flight. But to this day, the Kentucky meat shower remains a mystery. Chunks of meat began to fall. He felt everything as the scalpel sliced into his abdomen, but he couldn't move or cry out. That's because he was given drugs to paralyze him, but they forgot to give him the drugs to knock him out. For 16 minutes, he was wide awake in extreme pain until the doctors finally put him under. After the surgery, he couldn't sleep and became paranoid from the trauma. And tragically, he took his own life just 2 weeks later. A crocodile escaped from someone's luggage and onto the back of a plane. This caused panic and made everyone rush from the back of the plane to the front. And this sudden shift in weight caused the plane to lose balance, sending it into a nosedive. It crashed into a house near its landing site, killing 20 of the 21 people on board. But the crocodile survived the crash, only to be captured and killed later. As your fist hits, the brass knuckles focus the force into a smaller area. This makes your punch much stronger than with just your bare hand. When you strike, the energy goes through the brass into the target, causing more damage. The extra weight of the brass knuckles adds power to your punch and protects your hand from getting hurt. And since they cause so much damage, brass knuckles are illegal in most places. You might get poop dumped on you if you're walking down a street in 18th century Edinburgh. Back then, it was common for all types of waste to be tossed out of windows. To combat this, a law was passed, saying waste could only be thrown between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And before throwing the poop, you were supposed to yell out "Gardy Lou" as a warning to those below. Now, this law has never actually been repealed, meaning it's still technically legal to throw your poop here. A couple snuck into a giant balloon, thinking it would be fun, but they didn't realize that it was still partially inflated with helium. While inside, the couple unknowingly breathed in the gas. Once inside their lungs, the helium replaced the oxygen, and they both passed out. And since no one saw them go inside, they weren't discovered until it was too late. You would pinch the skin tag tightly at the base and quickly cut it off in one swift motion, which would minimize the pain. But it would also create an open wound. Plus, you might not remove the tag entirely, leaving behind tissue that could regrow. Even worse, some skin tags are attached to blood vessels, meaning cutting them could cause unexpected heavy bleeding. Instead, have it removed by a professional. Their hair fell out, they felt nauseous, and they suffered severe migraines for over a month. This was after they noticed a chemical smell in their apartment. Then the baby started vomiting, which made the father more suspicious. Finally, he set up a hidden camera and caught a neighbor injecting chemicals under his door. He even held his breath as he poisoned the apartment with the strong prescription drugs. The reason? He was annoyed that their newborn baby had been